Welcome back to Double or Nothing Slots, everybody. Today I'm playing Boom Banks again. This seems to be either loved or hated game. In the comments for the last video I did about this, some people really like it. Other people are really frustrated by it. So, I don't know, I thought it was worth revisiting and trying again. So, like all of my videos, I am not playing with real money, okay? Because if you look at the stats for any of my videos, you would see that that would be a terrible idea. I would have lost tens of thousands of dollars by now if I was actually playing with real money. And let me tell you, I can't afford to lose any money, let alone that much money. Gambling is entertainment. Gambling is not an investment. Gambling is not a way to make more money. Gambling is a way to spend money, okay? Don't think of it any other way than that. And yes, it's fun. That's why I like to do it. I like to play the games. I like to see the bonuses. I like to see how the games work. And so that's why I like to play in demo mode. In this game in particular, we're looking to land some bonuses here. There's these, I guess, safes, or I don't know what you call them, vaults maybe, that can pop open. So there's those colorful gems that end up over there. They can also increase the value of that vault. In that case, that just upped the maxi jackpot for us. We can also increase the number of free spins available in the bonus and the multiplier of the bonus. But it doesn't really matter what the numbers are on these vaults, okay? The bonus may or may not happen randomly. There's odds programmed into the game, of course. Ooh, that was a nice win. And these odds are independent of what these numbers say. So just because a game hasn't given you a bonus in a while doesn't mean it owes you a bonus. Statistically speaking, it might mean you're more likely to expect a bonus, but it could very well just not give you one, because the odds that are programmed into the game are over a long period of time. Alright, speaking of bonuses, we did just win one. 7 free spins, alright. A chance to win the jackpot. We've got a couple of keys for the major there. Oh, there's the mini. Oh, and the minor. That's a little better. One is 72 overall. That was not a great bonus, considering our bet is $10. Another really nice line hit. I gotta appreciate a game that can give you some decent money outside of a bonus. You know, I've mentioned this before, but one of the big reasons why I started this whole channel and experiment in the first place is I wanted to really understand how all the gambling content creators here on YouTube make it work. All right, I see these people out there at casinos making multiple videos a day, some of them. And I'm wondering, well, how can you afford to do that? How is that even possible for somebody to do that full time and keep it going? So I thought, well, maybe, it averages out over a period of time. Maybe, yeah, they lose money some days, but other days they make a lot. And maybe in the end, they're doing not too bad overall if they're able to keep going, with all that gambling. And I think what my channel has proved to me, at least, and you're welcome to try to replicate this experiment yourself just to see how you fare. But in my case, I've shown that you lose a lot of money. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're losing money big time. However, some of these creators have probably gotten to the point where their income through sponsorship deals, partnerships, ad revenue through YouTube may have gotten them to a point where they are making up for some of the gambling losses with some of the earned income in other ways. That said, I still don't know how some of them make it work. Some of them must still be losing tons of money because it takes a long time to get to a point where you do make any money at all through income. You have to already have quite a large following in order to do that. So I don't know. To me, there's got to be a lot of people out there who maybe are wealthy in other ways and are just choosing this as their hobby and are losing a lot of money doing it but not minding. Or maybe there's a lot of people out there going into a lot of debt. And I surely hope not, because playing silly little games like this is not worth going into debt. And I'm wondering if some of them are even gambling on future YouTube success, thinking if I just invest in this for a while, I'm going to become really popular, and then eventually I'll make lots of money. It will all be worth it. And that in and of itself is a gamble. And it's not one that I think will pay off. But, they can speak for themselves. If any of them want to be transparent enough to share how it all works for them. None of them seem to, though. And I gotta think there's a reason for that. But I do share transparently. And so if you check the video description of any of my videos, I show you what I've won or lost on that video, plus the combined running total of all of my videos. But I will say this, there's huge entertainment value in what all these content creators are providing. I enjoy watching their channels. I enjoy watching them have fun playing. I enjoy watching them win. It's not as fun to watch people lose, which I think the stats also tell us. So I don't think it's bad what they're doing. I just would want people who are watching this and maybe tempted to do the same thing themselves to be very cautious and to be very aware going into it that it's not about winning money. It really isn't. There is no secret knowledge you're going to gain that's going to make you successful playing slots all the time. Are some people going to get really lucky some of the time? Absolutely. That's part of the thrill of it. Are you going to have a ton of fun doing it? Absolutely you are. Is your brain going to get some of those hits of dopamine that wants you to keep going? Are you going to lose some of your judgment? That can also be true. So we just have to go into these things kind of with eyes wide open, right? Fully aware of what the downsides are, as well as, still enjoying the fun and the upside to it. what I do think some channels out there on YouTube do is they sell the fun and the glamour and the excitement of it all without necessarily really talking about the realities sometimes. So, just beware. And ultimately, never ever gamble money you can't afford to lose. Set yourself a budget, don't go above it, and don't make it so that you can't pay your bills. Only gamble with extra disposable income that you have. And I do that, knowing full well what I know from my experiment on this channel. I still do gamble real money on occasion. And I go into real casinos, I go on cruises with casinos, I'll do lottery now and again. And I enjoy it and I have fun of chasing that thrill and having that, hopeful moment. Maybe I'm going to be the one to win the lottery this time. But I only do it with a small amount of money. Similar to your entertainment budget. If I went out to the theater or something in an evening, that would cost me a certain amount of money as well. And so that's what I see my casino spending as. It's kind of my ticket for fun that evening. But always with a small budget and a set limit. I did also want to point out that YouTube is beginning to age restrict all gambling content here on YouTube. So if you do enjoy watching slot videos from myself or from other people, you might not see them recommended as often if you are logged out. So make sure you are logged in to your YouTube account, your Google account, as you're browsing YouTube if you still want to be able to see gambling content. As of right now, it hasn't really impacted all videos out there. I think it's going to take some time for YouTube to seek out and identify which content it's restricting. But if I'm reading the policy correctly, pretty much any online gambling content will eventually be age restricted and limited to those who are 18 or older and who are logged in to their account. So that will be interesting to see how it impacts the economics of gambling YouTube channels, let's be real, because the fewer views channels get, the less money they can potentially make. And to continue on my journey of complete transparency here, I make $0 from this right now because my channel does not have enough subscribers to qualify to make any money. All right, those vaults are growing quite big. I've had a lot of people say their vaults can get gigantically huge. Of course, the bigger those numbers get, the more you want to keep going because you want to see the payback of collecting those big numbers. But that's just game psychology for you. They want you to keep spinning so that you keep giving them more money. All right, those volts are looking absolutely huge. It makes you think, oh, it's going to come any second now. But like I mentioned before, the statistics don't work that way. The algorithm, the odds don't work that way. You are equally as likely to land a bonus on spin number 1 as you are on any other spin. And the odds of every single spin are independent of other spins done in the same session. So the game isn't, keeping track of your play over a lengthy period of time. Just every time somebody spins, there's a certain set of odds. Of course, different games are set up in different ways. In some games with bonuses, you'll get the bonus far more often, but maybe that bonus pays less overall. Versus other games, you might win a bonus way less frequently, but that bonus is more likely to be worth a bit more. Ultimately, every game has a certain return to player percentage that it's aiming to hit, and it will hit over the life many spins of that machine. But you might find games that you find more enjoyable to play because you hit the bonus more often. It's a little more activity and action versus some like this, which can feel like it takes forever to land a bonus, or that you may never land one. That's all up to how the game designers design the game to be. Of course, that's why, even though all slot machines have the same basic premise, that there can be so many varieties and variations, and people can enjoy trying out different ones and feel like they're different. Because their real structure, their spinning structure, their bonus structure can all have little differences. Keeps it fun and interesting, but it may also keep it confusing. I always like knowing how games work before I start putting real money into them. Alright, we are starting to get down on our money, getting low. We were doing quite well in the very beginning. Ooh, that's gonna be nice. But still, as nice as that little win was, we're still way in the hole. You know, sometimes I feel like online gambling especially takes advantage of vulnerable people, takes advantage of people that are feeling a little bit hopeless and are feeling the pressure of not having enough money and are looking for a way to take what little money they have and turn it into enough money to get by. That is such a dangerous place to be in. There's a reason why we hear so many horror stories of people that have ruined their lives by gambling, but we don't really read a ton of stories of people who have enhanced their lives by gambling. You really, really need to approach this as a hobby, as entertainment, and you know, if you don't have enough money to make ends meet, this is not the way to get out of that cycle. This is just going to make it worse. So please, 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 please be responsible. Please enjoy it for the fun it is. But don't get sucked in. Starting to think that another bonus is not in the cards for us today. We got our one and only bonus early on. Just over $100 left now of the 1,000 that we are experimenting with today. lot of wilds. Oh, too bad there was nothing on that second column. Well, it keeps giving us these little wins that are helping us hang on for dear life here at the end. Oh, just enough for one last spin. There we go. We're going to stop there. We've lost it. We're down 1,000. We've ended with nothing. We are going to keep tracking the stats. Look in the video description to read all of the stats. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Bye now.